Welcome, students, to another episode of Manhood Academy Podcasting. It's pre-New Year's. I don't know where everybody else is in the world, but right now it's about 7 hours till New Year's. Woo! And here we are, stuck in class, stuck in summer class. Okay, who do we have here today? We got DBP. We got High School 101. We got A-Team. We got Boggles. And the Paperclip.
Peace.
Anybody there? Am I talking to myself?
Here.
Hello? Hello?
I said peace. I'm just looking forward to the first topic.
Yeah, you love drama.
Yes,
Boggles, you there?
Yeah.
You awake?
Yeah.
A-Team, you there?
Yeah.
You awake?
Yes, sir.
All right, sweet. Well, we just we talked about A-Team's issue with his EM report. We didn't record it, so now we have a perfect opportunity for A-Team to share all his amazing conclusions or revelations or what he learned from the lecture that wasn't recorded.
Okay, so my problem was that I was quantizing a relationship.
You're what?
And that I was quantizing.
What's quantizing?
Measuring everything that I've done for him and everything that he's done for me.
Is that the word?
It's quantifying.
Oh, quantifying. Okay. I thought it was an actual new word. I thought you were inventing a new word or you had a new word that I wasn't aware of. Quantifying?
Quantifying, yeah, that's the right word.
Quantifying, okay. You're trying to quantify your relationship, okay. In what way?
And then I started measuring that, I shared my food with him, so he should be fine sharing my microwave oven. I started measuring what I did for him and saying that, I was trying to justify that to say this is what he should do for me. But
so you're trying to quantify things that really can't be quantified, like in an organic relationship, like if you're kissing or you're hugging or you're high-fiving or you're hanging out, you're trying to put like a dollar value on all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And since I don't have authority...
Well, first of all, let's talk about why you do that.
I don't know.
You weren't there when we talked about this?
Well, I do to try and justify my argument.
No. Why do you quantify? What's the point of quantifying this stuff? Like making a handshake worth 5 relationship units and hanging out with your buddy worth 10 relationship units. Why do you even attempt to quantify all this stuff? What's the point?
So I can argue with him to try and get him to do what I want.
So you quantify stuff so you can argue?
Yeah.
No. High School 101, can you help this guy out? Why does he quantify stuff like this?
Because he wants to basically have a bargaining chip to use. He wants to say, okay, since you did the dishes for me, for example...
Well, we understand that's the means, but why? Why does he want to have the bargaining chip? What's the point of the bargaining chip?
Are you still in high school, or can anybody answer?
Well, I'm asking high school first.
Okay.
Okay. He wants to have a bargaining chip so that... Because he feels that he has nothing to give, so he wants to...
No, DVP, why does he want these bargaining chips? Why is he trying to quantify the relationship?
Because he wants to control his relationships, but he doesn't have authority. So he's only doing it the best way he knows how, with all this quantifying.
Yes, this is like a nerd trying to learn everything there is to learn about calculus, the ins and outs, so he can be the authority on calculus. How will that supposedly benefit him in his head? What is his thought process there?
That he has something he can control.
Yes,
in his life.
He's in charge of something. People have to come to him to get this calculus help. He's the best at calculus. He's in charge. He knows the ins and outs. Same thing with video games. Guys get so, insane with video games. Like they want to unlock all the achievements in Call of Duty, or they want to get every single possible prize in playing Halo, and so they can say, "Hey, I'm an authority on this. You have to come through me if you want to." If you want to know anything about Halo, or you want to, you need. Basically, it's a means to control relationships.
How does that relate to the friendship?
Because the same need, or not need, but the same drive to try and become an authority on something is the same kind of mechanism you use to control a relationship. So, for instance, if I can get my expectations met with you, we have a good relationship. So, if I'm getting my expectations met with you, do I need to worry about, let's say we go to McDonald's and you give me 10 fries.
Uh-huh.
And then the next week, I go to McDonald's with you and I see you eat 12 fries out of my bag. So you eat 2 more fries than I got from you last week. Would I care about that?
No.
Why wouldn't I care about that?
Because you're getting your expectations met.
Right, okay, so let's say I'm not getting my expectations met with you now.
Uh-huh.
Would I care about that?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you're not getting your expectations met.
Well, yeah, but why? Why would I care about that?
Because that's like the one less thing you can control.
It's one less thing I can
all you have
control.
left.
It's the only thing I have left to control. My whole life I'm trying to gain control over things. As a man, my function is to control things. My function is to control relationships. That's why I have greater strength, greater intelligence, greater capacity. It's because I'm built for the responsibility of controlling a relationship. If I'm not controlling the relationship, something's wrong. I don't feel right. So if I can't control a relationship, I gotta control something because that's my function. So I'm gonna control algebra. I'm gonna control Halo. I'm gonna control Pokemon. I'm gonna control some field of study, some obscure hobby. I'm gonna control something. I'm gonna become the authority on something. So people have to come to me, and now they have to depend on me. It's like a false way of creating an organic relationship with people.
It becomes a crutch for not being able to meet your expectations.
It's like having.
It's not a crutch. It's not a crutch. You're not depending on it. It's a replacement. It's trying to be like it's like fast food. It's like relationship fast food. It's not good for you, but it's the best thing around.
It's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing. It's better than starving.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thanks for clarifying.
So, in that sense, when people are trying to control these different areas of their life that seemingly don't have to do with relationships, they really have a lot to do with it because they have to do with your function as a man. You have to control things. That is part of your function as a man, is to exercise authority, to bring things under your authority.
Yeah.
It's a natural function. This is why you have so much more capacity than a woman. It's to take care of her. You're made for the function of being in charge of that relationship. You have responsibilities. You have heavy responsibilities. And you have to be able to manage those responsibilities. That requires authority. To take care of somebody requires authority.
All right, Plum. So I have one quick last question. I don't quite understand that better than nothing. So it's like, if you don't have any actual authority, you're trying to control something that's better than nothing, so you want to grab onto that. That's why you see the relationships in, like, units.
What part are you confused by?
I'm confused by how controlling the units of something relate to not having authority. Like, for example, if I don't have authority over you, I want to get you on giving me 8 fries instead of 10, and you owed me 10 fries.
You have to control something. Anything.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. That clears it up.
Okay, let's move on here. Oh, actually, 18. So, where were we in the middle of your explanation?
We were talking about authority.
Okay, finish it up. Clarify for me.
Well, because I was trying to quantify all the things I've done for him, I was trying to use that as a replacement for not having authority over my neighbor.
Not having authority in the relationship to get your needs met. You weren't able to get your needs met ultimately. This is what authority is for, to get your needs met in the relationship.
Yeah.
So it's not authority just for the sake of authority. The authority is for something. It's to get your needs met.
My needs met.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all I have.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move it on. Let's see. First topic up. Oops, clicked on that. Oh, yes. Okay, so we gotta go up to...
awards in the chat room.
What's that?
You gave not Boggles, you gave high school and G-Zyger awards for this.
Yes, let's see here. Saturday, 12/12. Okay, so this is High School 101's Experiment in Balls, his EM report. Go through it, high school.
Okay, just about to get there.
Starts off, Boggles and I were messaging each other in Skype. You guys weren't talking to each other, you're just typing to each other?
Yeah, we were.
You were what?
Yeah, we were messaging each other on Skype.
I know, but I'm trying to clarify. Are you guys typing to each other, or are you guys chatting with each other physically?
No, we were typing.
Okay. So you're messaging each other in Skype, and he got into another fight with me. I wanted to stay in the Skype chat, but he demanded that I move to Google+. I applied the plum rule to him. Okay, hit it.
Okay. So, I'll just put the part of Bogler first.
Actually, Bogler could be Bogler, and you be you. How about that?
Okay.
Hit it, Bogler.
Okay. So, Bogler, go first.
Yeah, 1 second. I was speaking to Snaky Guy, and it is more convenient to speak in Google Plus for me.
Okay. Boggles is stating expectation.
Okay.
High School 101.
Wait, whoa. Is it relevant for you to be talking about Bogler stating his expectation here?
No.
So why did you put that?
Because I was trying to clarify. I was trying to, show you what I thought he was doing.
Good for you, but what are you supposed to be doing?
I'm only supposed to be saying whether he's punishing me or rewarding me.
Why is that important? Why do we make that distinction?
Because I'm not 100% sure, frankly.
Well, let's ask DVP. Why do we even make that distinction? Why don't we say everybody stay in their expectation? Everybody punishing and rewarding or justifying and not just or inappropriately justifying themselves or not or justifying themselves appropriately. Why do we even make the distinction between these people in the report?
Because
DVP?
this is your EM report. We're trying to see how you manage your expectations.
Yes, we don't give a fuck about Boggles right now. This is your report. We're checking to see how you are managing your expectations, not Boggles.
Oh, okay, got
So
it.
Boggles talking about, are you talking about Boggles stating his expectation is irrelevant. We don't care about Boggles' expectation right now. This is not Boggles' report. This is your report.
Do you want to put anybody on
And
bracket?
I thought that when we read an EM report,
What's
we
that?
had read about
Whoa,
everyone's
whoa, whoa, whoa,
expectation.
hold on. Boggles, DVP, what'd you say?
Do you want anybody else on brackets, or should we just keep it with them?
Do I want anybody else on what do you mean?
Besides Bogler and high school, do you want anybody else on brackets? Because it seems a little off-putting to just hear high school after he talks, then saying.
Oh, you mean cover the brackets.
Yes.
Okay, why don't you and Paperclip cover the brackets? Is that only
Okay.
Oh, and A-Team. You three guys can cover brackets.
Alright. Sweet.
I'll cover high school's brackets.
Actually, you know what? Paperclip, you can be quality control. You're the last line of defense. So, DVP and A-Team will cover the brackets, and then you're going to check them. You're going to be quality control, make sure they're doing it right.
Okay.
You're the last
What do
line
you
of
mean by doing
defense.
it right?
If they screw up, you're the last guy to catch any screw-ups.
How would they screw up reading the brackets?
Well, they could say stating expectation and go, that's good. And then they check with you. And if you go, yep, that's good, you screwed up your job. Your job is to catch all the mistakes.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, do it.
Alright, Boggles, you got your next one. Take it away.
Wait a second. Brackets. First set of brackets.
State an expectation. This is wrong. I don't think there should be anything there.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty obvious that he's setting expectation.
Well, it's even then, it's just not necessary whether or not he's stating his expectation. We only care about whether high school is stating his expectation.
I thought it did matter to state both people's expectations.
Nope, just
Didn't you just
the
hear,
person.
hold on a second. Paperclip, didn't you just hear what I said?
Yeah, but just a couple minutes ago you were talking about how I didn't understand what you guys were talking about a couple minutes ago in regards to the brackets.
Well, pay attention. I just explained exactly what the problem was with stating expectation. You didn't hear any of that?
Yeah, I did. I didn't understand it.
Okay, well then you need to say something so we don't just go on. You need to understand what I'm talking about. It's not good enough for you just to hear it. If you have a problem with what I'm saying,
Okay.
you need to speak up.
Okay.
Alright,
Well,
so
I thought that for every...
let's cover it again. Paperclip, I'm talking to you now.
Yes.
Why do we have a distinction between stating expectations and rewarding and punishing? Why do we make the distinction between the two people in the EM report? It's also covered in the EM guidelines, which you should have read. Why do we make the distinction? Why don't we just say everybody state their expectations and everybody talk about whether they're justifying themselves or inappropriately justifying themselves or appropriately justifying themselves? Why do we even bother making these distinctions?
I have no idea.
Well, pay attention because I'm going to tell you. The person whose EM report it is, whose EM report is it?
Mine, it's high school.
Yes, it's High School 101's EM report. So, if it's High School 101's EM report, he's the one who's learning how to manage his expectations, not Boggles. This has nothing to do with Boggles. Boggles is just one of the players in his life, in High School 101's life right now. He's one of the props.
Uh-huh.
The main character in this is the person who is writing the EM report, which is High School 101. So we care if he's meeting his expectations. Does Blue want to get in here? Is Blue trying to get in, DVP? DVP.
He went to the bathroom.
Oh, I thought Blue was trying. Is Blue on? I thought he was trying to get on. Let me see. Nope, I guess not. Okay, so we care about High School 101 and his expectations because this is his report right now. So we don't care about Bogler having an expectation. We know there's always going to be expectations. We know everybody has an expectation in an EM report. Both the people that are involved in it and they could be complementary expectations or competing expectations, but we know everybody has an expectation. But we're only concerned with who? Whose expectation are we concerned with right now?
High schools.
Why are we only concerned with his?
Because we're covering his expectation management.
Yes, we're not covering Boggles. Boggles has no say in this.
Okay.
So we only care about High School 101 managing his expectations. So we only care if he states his expectations. What do we care about the other people doing to us? If this is High School
Meeting our
101's report.
expectations.
What's that?
Meeting our expectations.
Or
I'll give you a hint.
Or
What's,
not meeting our
Or,
expectations.
right, so they're either meeting our expectations or not meeting our expectations, right? So
Yeah.
what is it? If they're meeting our expectations, what does that mean they're doing to us?
They're rewarding us.
And if they're not meeting our expectations, what are they doing to us?
They're punishing us.
Okay, so regarding other people, not High School 101, what's the only thing we care about them doing?
punishing or rewarding us?
I'm not asking you High School 101. I'm not talking to you, so shut up. I'm talking to Paperclip. Paperclip, what's the only thing we care about in relation to High School 101, the other people in the report? What's the only thing we care about them doing? What's the only thing we care about recording in the brackets?
Punishing or rewarding.
Yes. If they're meeting our expectations or not meeting our expectations. That's all we care about. We don't care about them justifying themselves inappropriately. We don't care about them justifying themselves appropriately. We don't care if they're stating an expectation directly or indirectly. All not relevant to us. What's relevant to us?
Whether the person's meeting our expectation or not.
There you go. So now do you know why certain people have certain things behind in them in brackets and why other people have different things behind them in brackets?
Yeah. How come we never corrected my expectation management?
I don't know. Maybe we'll cover your report. Who's that? Who just said that?
What?
Somebody said that we didn't correct their EM report or something like that.
Paperclip said that.
Oh, me.
Oh, so you want to cover one of your EM reports?
Sure.
All right, we'll cover it
We'll do it
next.
after high school.
Okay, so let's cover this now. Okay, so brackets. You guys said, what did you guys say for brackets, DVP and
There
18?
shouldn't. I don't think there should be anything there.
And what did 18 say?
I
Same
agree.
thing.
There's-
Paper, your quality control.
I agree. They are correct.
Okay, moving on.
But high school, he has to say okay.
Okay.
So, me, okay. And Bogler, hit it.
But high school 101 is high school 101, always causing me headache. I'm glad the more level-headed guy is coming along, or I would have to bang my head.
Brackets say punishing with ridicule. This is correct. What do you think, A-Team?
I think that's right as well.
And I agree.
Okay.
Okay. Plum rule.
Punishing with negative association created by Plum Rule. I don't know if this is a negative association, but I don't know what to replace it with.
Could it be punishing with disagreement?
No, that's not this. Well,
Rejection.
No, punishing with scolding. That's what I'm going to go with. Punishing with scolding.
Yeah, that's a good one. Punishing with scolding. I agree.
Okay. I triple that. I triple that.
You triple that?
I can't think. What do you say?
I would have said
I-
rejection. I would have said rejection at first, but then I tend to agree with that. It's more scolding because the plum rule is basically like scolding. It's saying you're breaking. It's basically the whole point of it is one big scolding. It's saying you're not meeting the expectations of the academy. You're always getting into fights with their students. So that is really the whole goal. It's really a scolding whenever it's used. So I would agree with that. Punishing with scolding.
Okay.
Or
It is
I'd
rejection,
accept
but
rejection. It's
Ridicule.
yeah, rejection's a little broad. I would say that's acceptable, but if you want to get more specific, the point of it is it's to scold. It's to say, look, you're wrong, regardless. You've been doing it wrong. You have bad habits. That's why the plum rule is in place. So it is a scolding. So I'm going to go ahead and agree with that.
Dude, you're an annoyance.
2 for 2.
Punishing me with ridicule. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, sir. I triple that.
I don't know if I agree with that. Punishing with ridicule. Why do you say ridicule, DVP?
Well, okay, it's just like, dude, you're an annoyance.
Yeah.
Like, that just sounds like, that doesn't sound like a real scolding to me. That sounds like a dysfunctional punishment. Like, dude, you're an annoyance.
That doesn't sound like ridicule to me.
It sounds like ridicule to me because
Because of
Father's not
dude.
attacking. Father's not attacking high school's actions. He's attacking himself.
Yeah.
He's saying like you are an annoyance. It's not your actions, but you as a person.
Yes.
Oh, let's see here. Ridicule. Dictionary. Reference.com. Speech or action intended to cause contemptuous laughter at a person or thing, like a derision. This is not ridicule. Ridicule is like if I make fun of you. It's like saying,
Okay.
if it's like I make a joke at your expense to kind of scold you in like it says, it's to cause contemptuous laughter. Like,
Punishing with negative association.
yeah. So I would say that this is more along
Scolding
the
or
lines
negative
of just
association.
rejection, or I would just say it's rejection. Rejection or scolding. You're an
Okay.
annoyance. you're bad, you're a bad person, punishing by rejection or punishing by scolding. I would say maybe punishing by scolding.
Isn't that dysfunctional since you're attacking the person and not his action?
Why do we care about that?
Because a person's not bad, it's his or her actions.
No, why do we care about that in this report?
About what?
About what you just said. Why do we care about putting that in the brackets in this report?
To be correct.
To be correct. What are we concerned with the other person doing to us?
Meeting our expectation.
Or?
Not meeting our expectation.
Okay, so do we care if the punishment is functional or dysfunctional?
No.
Why not?
Well, it is important.
Why is it important, DBP?
Because it doesn't...
Is it important or isn't it important?
It's not important. I'm at a loss for words.
Why is it not important, A-Team?
It's not important for the EM report because we're only concerned with punishing or rejecting and managing your expectations.
Right. Who cares if it's functional or dysfunctional? All we care about is if he's meeting our expectation or not meeting it. To say whether he's punishing us functionally or dysfunctionally is irrelevant. All we care about is if he's meeting it or not meeting it.
Okay.
So all these little descriptions of everything, they only matter to the person. You know, if you're justifying yourself inappropriately, who does that matter? Who does that matter for? Paperclip?
The person justifying himself inappropriately.
No. Who does it matter for?
For?
Or who does it?
Oh, the person.
Who is that a relevant description for? Somebody not justifying themselves inappropriately. Who is that relevant to? Which person?
To the person, to the recipient.
To who?
To the recipient, the person who's...
The recipient of what?
Being justified to.
No. A-Team.
Or the person who's writing the report.
Yes. The only person we care about, all these other little descriptions, are the person who is writing the report, the person who is trying to manage their expectations. What do we care about regarding the other people? That is the person not writing the report. What's the only thing we care about them doing?
Rewarding and punishing.
That's it. So, does it matter if their punishment is functional or dysfunctional?
No.
Paper?
No.
No. It just matters if they're meeting our expectation or not meeting it. All right, let's go.
I don't care. You are always wrong.
I don't care. You're always... Hold on. Punishing by disagreeing with his expectations. Punishing by disagreeing is correct. And then punishing by scolding. So punishing by disagreeing and scolding should be in the brackets. And A-Team's away, so let's just give it to Paperclip. Paperclip, do you agree?
I'm thinking. I disagree.
Okay.
Why?
I say it's just punishing by disagreement.
Why not punishing by scolding?
Because the person is... By saying you're always wrong, the person who's saying that's not offended. He's just disagreeing with whatever Bogler said.
No, I don't care as disagreement. You are always wrong is a scolding. Like that. Just imagine somebody saying this to you. You're always wrong, Paperclip. That's a scolding. That's not just disagreement.
Yep, I would say that's true. I don't care is disagreement. You're always wrong is also disagreement. It's also rejection, but more importantly, it's scolding. You're saying you're always wrong. You're always doing this. You're always bad. You're always doing this wrong. It's a scolding to them. It's saying you need to improve yourself. You need to improve your behavior. It's a scolding. So,
what was your answer, DVP?
What? What was my answer?
What was your answer?
Punishing by disagreeing and scolding.
You said punishing by disagreeing by saying I don't care. That's the punishing by disagreeing. And then punishing by scolding, he said, was you are always wrong.
So that's why I put both in the brackets.
You could also say, if you wanted to be correct, you could also say punishing by rejection. I don't care. It's just a rejection. You are always wrong. Also a rejection. But these are general. If you wanted to get more specific and get more points, you could say, yes, the more specific type of punishment, which is, like, for instance, I don't care is, I would say that's disagreement, but it's more rejection. You're rejecting what they're saying. I don't care. You know, you say something, I don't care what you say. I'm rejecting it. So it is punishing by disagreeing, but more to the point, it's punishing by rejection. And you are always wrong.
Disagreement and rejection.
It can be the same thing. A disagreement is a rejection.
Okay.
If I'm disagreeing with you, you say,
missing a cell.
Even scolding is
Scolding's a rejection. Scolding is a
it
disagreement.
says remonstrate with or rebuke someone angrily. That's the definition.
If you say 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, and I say no, it's equal to 5, am I disagreeing with you?
Yeah.
Am I rejecting you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing both. So we want to get as specific as possible. Disagreement is just a general category.
The disagreement is a bigger picture.
Yes.
And rejection is a smaller picture.
Yeah, these are
and
just
then scolding is even
Yeah,
smaller
it's just
picture.
a more specific type of looking at the punishment. So we could say all of this is just disagreement. You are wrong. That's also disagreeing. But if we want to get more specific, we could say it's a rejection. If we want to get even more specific, we could say, how is he rejecting him? He's rejecting him by scolding him. Okay. Keep going, Barbara.
Shut your mouth and listen when I tell you to go to Google+.
Punishing with ridicule and restating expectation. That's not ridicule. Restating expectation isn't needed, so it's just punishing with scolding.
18, you back?
Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, I say punishing with scolding is right.
Quality control.
I agree. But now I'm confused about ridicule. I forgot what it means.
What's ridicule, 18?
Ridicule is basically making fun of someone.
Making fun of somebody, trying to cause derisive laughter, contemptuous laughter. Like when you laughed at somebody and you're contemptuous against them. It's kind of like almost like a hatred. It's like when you mock somebody. You ever seen Sarah Jessica Parker?
She the bitch.
You know the chick in Sex and the City? The chick that stars in Sex and the City? You know how they always show a horse face for her? Paper.
Yeah.
You know how they always show,
I've
like,
seen that before.
there's a meme where it shows a horse and they always say that's Sarah Jessica Parker. That's making fun of her. That's ridiculing her. It's causing you to laugh at her, but like in a spiteful way, like I hate her. It's not like a good laughter. It's like a bad laughter.
Laughing at somebody with hatred.
It's like you're clowning on them. It's like if you're making fun of somebody, you're not doing it out of your goodwill. You're making fun of them and causing laughter at their expense.
So ridicule is making people laugh at someone in a bad way.
Yes. The dictionary is your friend. Look, use the dictionary.
Hurt the person.
All right. So where are we at now?
We're at high school. No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not fucking going. Don't demand stuff from me. Plum rule times 2.
Punishing by disagreeing, stating expectation, and using plum rule again. Well, punishing by disagreeing, or I wonder if the plum rule could even be a punishment by itself. But I think he got this one right. I think he should have just, grammatically, he should have put plum rule after disagreeing, and then put stating expectation.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I disagree. I don't think plum rule needs to be in the brackets. And instead of disagreeing, I would say rejection. To be more specific.
I'm not fucking going. What's that?
Disagree.
Punishing by disagreeing.
Well, it's disagreeing, but it's also rejection. You're rejecting the idea of what he has to do. So if you want to be more specific, it's both, but if you want to be more specific, you're just rejecting what he's telling you to do. No, I'm not doing that. Not fucking going. Don't demand stuff from me. What's
Stating
that?
expectation.
No, punishing by rejecting again.
Well, you're stating an expectation to not demand stuff from me. So, yeah.
Well, in the context, it just sounds like a punishment.
Yeah, it is a punishment too, because you're in the context. He's saying, "I'm not fucking doing that. Don't demand stuff from me." So you're scolding him. You are stating an expectation technically, but you're also the point is you're scolding him. Don't do this. Don't demand stuff from me. That's wrong.
Oh yeah, you're right. So punishing by disagreeing.
Punishing by scolding.
Yeah.
Punishing by scolding. That's fine.
Punishing by okay, fine.
You could say either. It's not a big deal. The point is, what's the point though? What's the main point here? What's the big picture here, Paper, that we want to make sure we cover?
to either get your expectation met or not.
Right. So what's the important part here? Because we're talking about who at this point.
High School 101.
Right. So what do we want to make sure he did here?
Punished.
Right. Okay. So we're concentrating on whether he punished or not. Yes, we could also say he stated an expectation or that he scolded him, but we want to make sure it's somewhere we indicate he punished him. So this is a good part. All right. Keep going.
You're not even worthy of demands. You're so delusional. Can't do anything right.
Punishing with ridicule is in the brackets, and that's incorrect. It should be punishing with scolding. 18?
Yeah, I agree. Punishing with scolding.
Quality control.
I triple that.
Okay. I agree.
Can I say something too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It should be punishing with scolding instead.
We don't care what you say. That's what quality control is for.
Okay.
Go.
I'll do my job.
Let him do his job. Go ahead.
Plum rule times 3.
Punishing. Can the plum roll just be a punishment by itself? Okay, you know what?
I
Punishing
think
by
it's
scolding.
rejecting at its core. Or scolding, nah.
I would say it's mostly scolding.
Scolding.
Yeah. So yeah, I forgot that plum rule is scolding. So yeah, punishing by scolding.
How is that scolding though? Just saying plum rule.
Well, plum rule. We explained this already.
You already
Yeah.
explained it. You need to pay attention. Stop smoking when you're in the classroom.
I don't do drugs.
Okay, well you should be paying attention then. The plum rule is a scolding. Just remember that. If I tell you the plum rule, that's because I'm scolding you. You're doing something wrong.
Okay.
Okay, keep going.
Always screwing stuff up.
Brackets say punishing with ridicule. It should be punishing with scolding again.
Yeah, I agree. Punishing with scolding.
And soul, I agree.
Okay.
Plum rule times 10.
Do we really have to say punishing with scolding again?
Let's go. Come on. Get through this quick.
Okay, fine. So punishing with scolding.
Yep, I agree.
I agree.
Let's go.
Freaking nerd, messing things up.
Punishing with scolding.
Could this be ridicule? Because he's kind of making fun of him.
He's not making fun of him. It's more like just he's a freaking nerd. It's a bad association. Telling him he's
negative
scolding.
association with scolding. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's not making a joke here.
Okay.
Now, in order to ridicule, do you need an audience, or can it just be you and the
It
other
could
person?
just be you and him. You haven't clowned on somebody just talking to somebody else? Paperclip.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Next, come on.
Plum rule.
Okay, High School 101. Can you say that again, but step back from the microphone about 10 inches?
Plum rule.
Step back 3 more inches. Say it again.
Plum rule.
Oh, it's perfect.
Okay.
Stay that far back.
Alright.
Alright, and then same punishment. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I agree.
And I agree.
Bogler.
Here, enjoy me blocking you.
Oh,
Punishing with threat. Damn. I think that's just scolding.
I don't know if
Actually,
it's...
I take that back. Yeah, punishing with threat.
Punishing with...
With what?
With threat. Punishing with threat. High school got it right.
Was that an appropriate punishment? Saying punishing with threat?
That doesn't matter.
do
Well,
we
yeah.
care about that?
It's punishing with enforcing consequences.
Yeah, there we go. Not threat. I don't think threat is one of the options. I think it's enforcing consequences.
okay, so fine.
Yeah.
Punishing with enforcing consequences.
Nice catch, quality control.
I'm not
Oh.
quality control.
Well, I'll pull up the ebook.
Everybody agree with that? I think that's one of them is enforcing consequences. Like he said here, here's my punishment. I'm going to block you. Now I blocked him. That's a consequence. So he's punishing
Okay.
with a consequence.
Alright.
All right.
Plum rule.
Same as, yeah, that's correct.
Okay, Bogler.
Later nerd who jumps on bandwagons.
Punishing with scolding.
Yeah, punishing with scolding. Or negative association.
Either one.
Yeah, that too.
I disagree. I say punishing with ridicule.
Why?
Because he's making
Oh,
he's making fun of him by calling him a nerd and then jumping on a bandwagon. He's implying that he's a nerd who jumps on bandwagons, that he's like any other groupie, which is
It's not really. It's not really causing me to laugh. It's not really a ridiculing joke.
So what was the answer?
Punishing with scolding.
If he was saying, if he was saying, "Okay, Urkel," in a sarcastic way, that would cause like a. That's like a ridicule. You're making a joke at his expense, and it's causing kind of like it's like a little laughter. That's more mocking. That's more ridicule. Just saying later nerd jumps on bandwagons. It's not really a joke.
So the nerd doesn't make you laugh, but Urkel would.
The fact is not being a nerd is not the ridiculing part. You're just kind of making a negative association. He's bad like a nerd.
Okay.
Who jumps
I
on
thought that by
bandwagon.
saying later Urkel would be a negative association.
It would be a negative association, but it's a specific. I'm specifically pointing to Urkel
Yeah.
to ridicule him.
Oh, to laugh. Okay. The ridicule has to have laughter.
See how I'm laughing at you? I'm ridiculing. Okay,
Yeah.
keep going.
Plum rule times a million.
Oh, that's a million? Oh, yeah, I guess that's enough zeros. Okay.
Yeah.
Good guess.
All right, Bogler.
Stop messaging me, nerd.
Punishing by the negative association. Should be in the brackets.
Yeah.
I agreed.
Okay,
Oh, and scolding.
okay. I'll accept either. Okay.
Okay, I'm next. If you get into an argument with another student, you are always wrong. Period.
I almost said that this was an inappropriate justification, but he's not really justifying himself. He's kind of like yelling at him, like scolding him. Like, you are always wrong, period. That sounds more like a scolding, so punishing the scolding.
Yeah, punishing by scolding.
I disagree. I say it's a justification.
What would you put there in the brackets?
Inappropriately justifying myself.
Why so?
Because he's trying to reason with them about why Bogler's always wrong. Bogler hasn't respected high school yet for high school to explain why Bogler's always wrong.
Oh, this makes me so happy, dude. I was trying to play a poker face, like I didn't care about the explanation, but that was so pro, dude. Winner, chicken dinner! Congratulations. Yes, this is what you should have picked up on. Yes, I guess you could say, in a sense, I agree also with DBP that he's all using this in the context of scolding. If you get in an argument with a student, you're always wrong, period. It kind of has that strong tone to it. But ultimately, there's no point in explaining this to him. Why does he even have to explain this to him? The only reason he would be explaining this to him or have cause to do it is if what? Paperclip?
Bogler respects him.
Yeah, if he respected him.
Bogler submits to high school's expectation.
No, what you said was right. He respects him, which means he fears his authority. That's how we know he's listening, if he fears his authority. If he doesn't fear his authority, he doesn't care what he says. His explanation is wasted. It may be right. If you get in an argument with a student, you're always wrong, period. That may be right, but who cares? This whole thing here, if Bogler was managing his expectations, this would be pro, because he's completely ignoring everything High School 101 is saying. High School 101 is saying plum roll, which trumps everything. It trumps every argument. But Bogler completely ignores that. So, him saying, oh, if you get in an argument with another student, you are wrong, doesn't the plum roll already say that?
Yeah.
So, the fact that he's explaining this shows how useless it is to explain that. There's no point to justify himself. It's an inappropriate justification.
Okay. Should have done the roll times a million and one.
What's that?
Should have done the plum roll times a million and
one.
Yeah,
same thing. Just say, plum roll, fuck off, whatever, is just a punishment. It should be no justification whatsoever. Any justification is inappropriate at this point.
Man, I wish I was like this with chicks. God.
Yeah, okay. Bogler?
I'm like, damn, I couldn't believe
Yeah, you did a perfect, if this was a chick, she would have been falling in love with you by now. Okay, Bogler. Bogler.
Yeah, wait, I thought high school read out. There was actually one more line in the chat.
No, it's you and then him at the end.
Shut your mouth. Don't message me.
The brackets.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the brackets should say it's a punishment, so just punishing by scolding.
Yeah, punishing by scolding.
Agree.
Okay, last one.
You are the problem. End of story. You are the reason people irritate you. I don't care what I did, because you are always wrong.
Inappropriate justification.
Yeah.
Agree. Okay, I'll go with that. Inappropriate justification.
Quality control.
Oh, I already gave my answer.
I didn't hear it.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
what?
I agree.
Okay. So
that is it.
the first part of this was excellent. Just plum roll, same thing. No justification at the end. Screwed up. Inappropriately justifying himself. But this is basically the way to handle Bogler. This is a perfect example. Bogler's wrong, regardless of even if High School 101 was wrong, his expectation was wrong. Maybe it was more convenient to go on Google Plus, like Bogler suggested. Doesn't matter. That's why the plum rule is there. That's why the plum rule exists. This is a special exception. Because Bogler gets into fights with every student here, we made the plum rule for him specifically. Why did we make the plum rule for him? High School 101?
Because he doesn't know how to give enough incentive to people to meet his expectations. Students don't want to meet his needs.
Right. Hold on a second. Your microphone's a little shoddy. Go ahead. Say it again, DVP.
Basically, Bogler, he doesn't give enough incentive.
Yes.
So you're kind of like, you're basically forcing him to give incentive to other students before punishing, because he's always ready. He's very, very trigger happy with punishments. When
yes, he's ready to shoot, ready to punish. So if we just say that every time he shoots he's wrong,
yeah,
that totally nullifies his punishment. It doesn't matter if High School 101 was in the wrong. Still wouldn't matter, because it's a special case. Because he can't manage his expectations properly, he doesn't know how to give incentive, so we took away all his punishment. Now he's forced to give incentive. There's no other option but to give incentive.
Yeah.
So this is handled perfectly. Bogler fucks with you on the forum, just tell him plum roll and fuck off. That's the end of story. I'm going to always side with you. I'm going to always side with the High School 101 in this case. If there's a dispute and I have to arbitrate, I'm going to say, what happened here? And then High School 101 is going to say, well, I did this, but I'm not sure if this is right, but I applied the plum roll. I'm just going to say, okay, you're correct. Bogler's wrong. End of story.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Say, like, if I was in Bogler's position, what would I say? What would be the right thing to do?
Let's ask Bogler. Bogler's in Bogler's position. Let's ask Bogler.
I would have to provide a lot of incentive to everyone, and then state my expectation and hope that he would meet my expectation.
Yeah, you would have to hope, because you already fucked up your punishment, so you don't get that anymore. If their people are smart, they would pull the plum rule 100% of the time, but people are still dumb and learning, so you can take advantage of that. But the more people learn the plum rule, the tougher and tougher it's going to be for you to have any type of interaction with people without providing incentive.
But either way, I still have to hope that they meet it after all the incentive.
Well, welcome to Incentiveville then.
Yeah. It's like
That's a good way to learn how to create incentive for people, though, Boggles.
That's the whole point. Now you understand the point of the plum rule.
yeah, the plum rule is like an engine warning light that comes on. Like whenever you start the car, something's wrong with the car. Plum rule is like a warning light, warning Boggle that something's wrong with his socialization vehicle, that he needs to get it fixed. And it's always going to be their warning until he gets it fixed, so he can give people enough incentive to meet his expectations.
Take care of that check engine light, Boggles,
Yeah.
because it's always on.
Hmm.
Till you decide one day you're going to turn it off.
Get an oil change.
Get an oil change. All right, let's move on here. Who's next?
DKO wants him to call.
Okay, let's bring him in. The DK
Okay,
Oster.
I'll be right back, guys.
All right, let me get DK, D to the K to the O.
DK. Donkey Kong is here.
Donkey Kong is here. Donkey Kong is in the building.
I am here.
Welcome.
Yo, yo, yo.
Last greeting.
All right, let's see. Where are we? Are we going to cover? Oh, we wanted to cut paper. You wanted to cover one of your EM reports.
I mean, for what reason should I come?
I don't know. You were the one who brought it up. You said, "Why didn't we do this, or why didn't we do that?" For some reason.
Check it back.
I was just concerned that I wasn't following the EM guidelines and I was never corrected.
Yeah, we
So
correct
I'll
you
follow the
multiple
new EM
times.
guideline for now.
A lot of times you don't follow the EM guidelines. But it's like there's so many things wrong with your report. A lot of times I don't even want to bother. I look at it and I go, "Fuck." It's not just a house with a dirty floor. It's like a house with a broken window, a jacked up garage. It's like in a bad part of town. The roof is falling off. It's like I have to rebuild the whole fucking thing. It's better just to say, "Hey, how about you build your house right the next time," instead of me having to repair every single hole in this thing.
How come you don't just say EM report is wrong?
I usually do say that. Sometimes I just put it in the academic probation. That lets you know it's all wrong.
It has happened to me. Or
And sometimes you have a guy like Zeiger who's super nice and will torture himself to go through your report line by line and you can see how fucking terrible it is. Like
Yeah.
Spirit's EM report, I looked at that. I looked at the first few lines. I'm like, this is fucking garbage. But to go through it, it's just like, there's so many problems wrong with it. It's like the one of the main problems is it's not even necessary. He's talking about making a banner and like it was some kind of triumph of an EM report. There's no real conflict of expectations. But he made it sound like it was World War III, and it's like, it's so silly to be writing about it. Plus, everything he put in the brackets was wrong. It's just like such an uphill battle, but Zeiger was such a nice guy, such a helpful student resource that he went through and corrected it. That is the attitude of a great student, because sometimes I say, "Hey, can somebody help this guy out?" And who's the only guy that rushes in there? Zeiger. Coincidentally, who's doing so well? Zeiger. He's fucking getting the job done. If you see, "Hey, can somebody help out the student?" or "Can anybody help out the student?" Who's anybody, Bogler?
It should be everyone.
Wrong answer. Paperclip.
me.
Who's anybody, Bogler? I mean, anybody. Paperclip. When you read, "Can somebody help out the student?" "Can anybody help out the student?" Who is anybody?
me.
You.
Me.
You. Exactly. It's you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. It's you. Exactly. A-team. When you hear, "Can somebody help the student out?" Who is it?
It's me.
Exactly. But it shows that also, if you know the answer, it shows that you're shirking your responsibility to the other students on the forum. There's a lot of students on the forum. You shouldn't be reading EM reports and going, "Oh, this is garbage." Well, guess what? I already know how to do EM managements. I already know how to write an EM report. Who needs to practice?
We.
Us.
Yes. You fuckers should be going over there and going, Spirit's EM report is terrible, but guess what? I need the practice, so I'm gonna do it. Who cares if Zeiger already did it?
that.
You should be going in there. Zeiger already did it, so you already have a cheat sheet to help you out, but you should be doing it without Zeiger's help. You should be just trying to do it and then check with Zeiger's report.
It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
Always.
So you guys should be, there's a ton of EM reports you guys should be working on right now that haven't been solved. There's still Rubik's Cubes that haven't been solved out there. You should be working on solving them. What's the benefit of you solving one of
Alright,
these
sounds
EM
good to me.
reports? Hey, 18, what's the benefit of solving one of these EM reports?
It'll help you figure it out on your own.
It'll help you figure out what?
How to manage expectations.
Yes.
It'll help you with your own EM report.
Yeah, if you can, not only your EM report, but your life. If you can figure out where this guy is justifying himself inappropriately, where the punishment is happening, where the reward is happening, don't you think you'll be able to do that in real life? If you can recognize those things?
Yeah.
Oh, I recognize that person right there is not meeting my expectation. What do I need to do? Justify myself inappropriately? No. I already know not to do that. I know that I need to punish him right now. Oh, this person's met my expectation. What should I do? Reward them. I will know how to do these things because I have trained to do that. I'm competent. I can recognize these elements in my own social interactions. Takes practice. If you guys aren't going to practice, no wonder you fucking suck at managing your expectations. No wonder. Takes practice.
That makes sense. So if we do quite a few, we'll become quicker at...
yeah, you should be able to identify it like that. So if you can do somebody's EM report very quickly and go through it, you could figure out the own problems with your own expectation management reports and your own personal interactions with people. You'll go, oh, I recognize what's going on here. I have practiced doing this over and over. I know when this person's punishing me. I know when they're rewarding me. I can see that now.
Like cleaning a mirror. The more you clean the mirror, the more you see all the...
Can you take 3 steps back from your microphone?
Oh, God damn it. I'm going to put like a... Swear to God. Here. I'm going to get something.
Yes.
Look.
Sweet.
How's it sound now?
Sweet. Okay.
I'm saying, it's like cleaning a mirror. Like, the cleaner the mirror gets, the more crap you see in yourself. The more you see your flaws and defects.
Sweet. Okay. Let's go on and go to this next post here. Oh, let me delete this one. Okay, what's the next one?
Writing about yourself. Wait, what?
How to tell if you're a mangina. Oh, I thought we already read this.
Did we? I don't think we did.
I don't think we did.
Hi, Lauren. I'm
Yeah,
just
we read
joining
it.
you.
yeah,
we
we
did.
read it. We just didn't read the full thing.
We didn't finish it. I don't
Yeah.
even know if we want to finish this thing. It's pretty
No.
much the same thing over and over and over.
I'm over it.
Team.
Justification.
Justification,
occasional punishment.
yes.
Yeah. We don't need to cover this.
I think we're over that one.
I
Okay.
like the picture there.
Get rid of that one. Okay, you know what? Since we only got an hour left, I'm going to save this time for expression posts.
Oh,
So
yeah.
let's everybody turn to the expression section. We're going to cover expression posts. We'll work on our expression today. Let's see. Honing your expression. Suggested reading list. Before I forget. Somebody suggested Dr. Seuss and Goosebumps.
I did Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, okay. These are kids' books, so I'm not going to recommend them. I'm recommending books that for adults.
Okay.
If you want to read these books, like for instance, Paperclip will benefit from a Goosebumps book or a Harry Potter type book, not for the content, but just for the grammatical structure, because he needs to read a lot of books that just have a proper grammar structure, so he can start absorbing that and applying it to his own writing. So in that case, if you're just looking for books like that, I would recommend anything. Anything is fine, as long as it's just something that is well written, has some structure to it. That's fine. Read that. What's that?
My question is, why are 90% of the books themed with sad themes? Why not adventurous, happy themes?
Well,
That's
maybe
why.
we need to find some adventurous, happy things. Let's see here. What's a painted house? It's kind of a mystery theme. I don't know if I'd necessarily classify that as sad. I think it has some sad events.
Yeah, everything has sadness except Charlie and James
A
and the Giant.
Clockwork Orange, that has some kind of tragedy in it. Brave New World, yeah. Taming of the Shrew. I think that might have a happy ending in it. Happy and a silver lining, I guess. Lord of the Flies,
Rick
kind
Gatsby was alright.
of adventurous. A
Rick Gatsby was
little
sad.
bit of tragedy, a little bit of grimness in there. Animal Farm,
Sad. Sad.
yes. Ultimately sad. The Bible,
Before sad.
I think it has a lot of different themes in there. Lolita, I don't know. I read part of it, but it's really good writing in the beginning. I don't know the outcome of the story. Anybody finish that?
I read the last part, but it was sort of
Sort of
it had like
sad.
a sick sadness.
The Great Gatsby, sad.
Sad.
The Sun Also Rises. I don't know if it was necessarily sad. Farewell to
It's a
Arms.
little-
I think that's a love story. I think
I read it a long time ago. It's like sort of this love story. I think one of the people's like an alcoholic. It's kind of more like a soap opera. Almost.
you'll like a Farewell to Arms if you're looking for a happy ending, Douglas.
Wait, is that about a nurse?
You said that had a sad ending as well.
I think it has a happy, sad ending. I think it's happy. It's more like a love story. You'd like it.
The next one, oh my god, of Mice and Men. Probably the sad.
That has a happy
story I
ending.
read in a long time.
The retard gets shot, I think, but
Yeah, it's so sad.
a separate piece. I think it has sad parts, but I think it has a happy ending. I'm not sure. I forget how that ends.
Oh, that one was pretty sad too.
Doesn't it have a happy ending though? Don't they get together at the end? The two buddies?
Oh, it's sad. He dies.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought it was happy at parts. Okay. So Stan, this is scary. I don't think it has a happy ending. It's just a scary ending.
Yeah.
Charlie and Chocolate Factory, that's happy. James and
That's
Giant
happy.
Peach, that's
Well,
happy.
while we have you here, do you recommend The Mist by Stephen King?
Most Stephen King books I wouldn't recommend, other than maybe early Stephen King, because it feels like a lot of ghostwriters are writing his books at this point, and they're just really formulaic and boring. I would recommend like early ones like The Stand. That's a great one. That's on here. It.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but other than that, I would say most of them kind of follow the formula and just aren't that interesting. I got into them for a while, started reading them, but after a while I was like, I've read this before. Count of Monte Cristo, that has a happy ending. Maltese Falcon. Yeah, does it have a happy ending? The Count gets back his comeuppance and everything?
Yeah, it's happy.
Yeah, but he killed people when he was sad for a lot of years.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, but if he's sad and he comes through the tragedy, it comes out happy at the end. I would say James and the Giant Peach can be classified as a tragedy because he has like terrible step parents in the beginning, and then later on he gets happy.
Well, I just want a well-rounded happy book. Or the whole book.
What do you want? You can't have happiness without tragedy, though. There's nothing to highlight the happiness.
By tragedy, I just want the puppy to die or their garden to fall apart. I mean, I don't want people dying. Just
Well, I mean, if you want something that's like more happy, upbeat, you could try like young adult books that are pre-adult, in the pre-adult section.
How about stories of courage and motivation?
Maltese Falcon, Courage and Motivation. That's like a mystery novel. Why not comic books, Boggles? Courage and Motivation, like Superman and Batman.
Oh yeah.
Fantasy novels.
the suggestion.
I've read
The
them.
suggested reading list should be called the suggested emo list.
The suggested email list. There you go.
What about
What about The Hobbit? I'm not sure. I think The Hobbit.
Oh, that's a good book.
I thought the writing was a little simplistic. I thought it's a fine story. Like a lot of these, I'm more concerned with the writing than maybe the sadness or tragedy of events. Sometimes I'm concerned with the story, but a lot of these have like various elements that I like about them that are mixed.
Hobbit so many times, like just the way, like when he describes the house at the beginning, like the hole in the ground. I just that book never gets old to me.
I read The Hobbit and I wasn't impressed with the writing. I think the story is kind of a quaint story. There's a lot of books I read that have like a quaint story or a cool story, but they're not memorable to me. If it's not memorable to me, I don't recommend it. It has to have something striking about the writing, so either really well written or a good story or an interesting story. Like James and the Giant Peach, Ronald Dahl is like a really inventive writer, creative writer. It's touching. So there's different elements that are working there. So even if something is a children's story, like James and the Giant Peach, it has to have something striking about the writing that I like.
Of Mice and Men, I like the way that they compared Lenny to like animals. Like he'd say, like when he grabs Curly and like crushes his hand, they don't say, oh, he grabs him. They say his hand is lost in Lenny's paw. They describe him like he's a bear or something.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I haven't read that in a while, but I know it's really short and really quick. But for some reason, it became a very popular novel.
I'm trying to think.
Very, very sad. It's so sad to me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of maybe a story where they're like in a safari and then they go find a treasure and they're more.
Oh, you know what? I've read a lot of books like that. They're really cool. They're like, there's a couple authors you might look up that are pretty famous. They write kind of like, not series, but they have kind of like a couple books in the same type of genre where there's a guy who is, investigating submarines or underwater crafts. There's a guy who writes and he searches for underwater, not underwater, what is it? Let me say, sunken ships, things of that nature. And then he writes novels along those lines that are adventurous. But they're more like filler. It's like watching, it's just like watching a sitcom. It's adventurous for the time being, but it has no real content or meat to it. I've read a bunch of novels like that, and I would say a lot of writing the majority of writing is like that. It's like kind of just like a fast food type writing. It's enjoyable. It passes the time. If you're on a plane, it's interesting to read. Oh, there's an author you probably like because the writing is very simple, but it's got those kinds of stories. So Sidney Sheldon, S-I-D.
Oh, there you go, Sidney Sheldon.
Yeah, let me see.
Not
Here.
their name. I used
Sidney
to be
Sheldon.
like Hardy White or something when I was a kid.
Welcome to SidneySheldon.com. He's got he writes in a very simplistic style, but he's got like a lot of adventurous stories. So you probably like books by him if you were just looking for something light.
All right.
Sounds like you're looking for light reading. This reading list isn't for light reading. This is for deep, tragic, hardcore, twist your guts reading.
Yeah, dictionary reading.
Dictionary reading. There was one great book.
I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing at Plum's comments on this page.
There's
on this page.
Which one?
Your comment on this page.
Which one are you looking at?
The one okay, the one by Jackson Pollock painting.
Oh, all right. DVP is off in his own world right now. Okay, so there's actually one book. I have not found it yet, and it's bugging the fuck out of me. It's the most amazing book I've read, and it's set in like medieval times. This kid is training to be a knight,
Nice.
and and it's got like a red cover, but it's kind of an old book, but it's one of the most amazing books. I hate reading like science fiction and fantasy books. I mean, I like reading some of them, some authors, but generally these are just formulaic and you fall asleep.
It's Brave New World kind of science fiction about the future?
It's not necessarily the category. I've read a lot of different categories of writing, but it's really, you got to find a good author, a good writer, and then it turns everything it makes the world a difference. Like, for instance, I would normally read, a tale about knights. It would be interesting when I was a kid, but right now I'm just not interested in it. But this writing was so well done, and it drew you into the story. And I wish I could remember the name of it, but it's one of the most amazing fucking books I've read in this genre. So if I find it, I'm going to put it on there instantly. Sidney Sheldon, I've read some of his works. There is, let me see the one I read that I actually liked.
Sidney Sheldon Wikipedia right now. Novels, okay.
Yeah, so he's got very.
The old ones or the new ones?
I think older ones. He's got very simple prose. It's almost like Hemingway. The sentences are very easy, but the storytelling is what would capture you, and you probably get engrossed in the story. You could probably read one of his books in like a day or two. They're that engrossing.
The Naked Face, A Stranger in the Mirror.
Gotcha. So, again, if you're just looking for fast food type writing, you don't need the reading list for that. And I wouldn't even recommend this type of reading. That's not the point of this list. This list is to broaden your horizons. That's the point of this list. If there's an author who I think their writing style is very catching or intriguing, even if it's poetry, I'll put it on the list. But I'm not just going to put it on the list if it's an engrossing read. There's a lot of books that are engrossing read, but they're just not memorable.
Okay.
So it has to have a little more criteria than just an engrossing read. It has to have
But
something memorable about it.
Any reading is better, even if it's like...
Yeah, if you're not reading anything, you don't need to wait for the book list to come out with the book that you want to read. You could just start reading and say, look, I like this type of writing, or I like this author, etc. Go to Barnes and Noble, go to the library, pick up a book that has an interesting cover or a boring cover, whatever, and just start reading a couple pages of it. See if you like it. If you don't like it after 4 or 5 pages, try another one.
Right.
I mean, how did I pick up these books? I just saw them and just started reading them and was like, this one I didn't like it. This one I liked it. Started reading it more.
Okay. Yeah, the idea of reading books is so strange. Like, so, like I just read stuff on the internet.
If you want to start you could start with the classics. Everybody knows about the ones that are recommended or required reading in high school. John Steinbeck, The Grapes of Wrath. I didn't like that, but as a recommended reading, people thought it was this awesome book. Catcher in the Rye. I hated that book. That's one of the worst books I've ever read. But again, recommended reading. And then there's other books I was like, oh, this is an interesting book. Another highly recommended book is a huge novel, Gone with the Wind.
Oh, the movie.
Annoying as fuck. But it was interesting to see that different time period. So exposure to different time periods is interesting.
Yes.
Again, wouldn't be on my list because it wasn't enjoyable.
How about like Greek mythology?
Yeah, there's some great stories, and I read. We had a class that was called Greek mythology, and we had a teacher reading us different this and stuff like that. Those are interesting. I wouldn't necessarily classify those again as like something striking, but they're interesting reads.
Okay.
Let's cover the expression post.
Let's get to it.
Yeah.
Expression. Okay, so who are we starting with? Let's see. DKO, where are you at? DKO.
All the way second to the last.
Second to the last person. What page are we starting on?
Well, we did my last post, so do you want to go to... Let's go to page 18.
Page 18. Okay, page 18. Okay.
And we're doing the post that was on December 15th.
December 15th. Is it the one at the top?
No, it's in the middle.
It's the one that, it's a long one.
It's a long one. Okay, well, we might not make our way through it. December 15th? What are you talking about? I see December 16th.
Oh, mine says 15th.
What does it start with?
Starts with Boggs.
Boggs, yeah.
Thanks for waking me up?
No. It starts with Boggs. You're right about talking about people and myself in my expression post.
Okay, that's December 16th for me.
Oh.
That's it. Well,
Okay, go ahead.
Time changes.
Yeah.
Okay. It was sad when I saw a little white girl.
Whoa! I thought it said Boggs are right about talking about people.
Oh yeah, but that's just a reply.
Oh, okay. So where are you starting at?
It says where it was sad.
It was sad. Okay, so about 3 paragraphs down.
Oh, okay.
Everybody there?
Yes. I'm trying to find.
Hold on.
There.
Boggles, you there?
I see Boggs, then I don't see what he's talking
No,
about.
3 paragraphs down, so it was sad.
1, 2, 3. After school.
No, Boggs. About 4 or 5 posts down from that one.
Oh, 4 or 5 posts, not paragraphs. Okay.
Okay. I thought you were at the post already.
Says you're right about talking about people, right?
Okay.
Then 3 paragraphs down from that. It says, it was sad. Go ahead.
Okay. It was sad when I saw a little white girl sitting in the back of her mom's car while her mom was blasting pop music. She was listening to some kind of club music, and I was still able to hear the beats while all the windows were rolled up. I was thinking to myself, another one bites the feminist dust. The girl was going to grow up to be another slutty bitch like her mom. I didn't meet the mom, but when I was able to hear
Hold on. Time out. Paper, can you read this so I don't fall asleep?
Yes.
Okay, start over.
Who's typing? It's annoying.
Hello?
Alright, there we go.
Go ahead.
It was sad when I saw a little white girl sitting in the back of her mom's car while her mom was blasting pop music. She was listening to some kind of club music, and I was still able to hear the beats while all the windows were rolled up. I was thinking to myself, another one bites the feminist dust. The girl was going to grow up to be another slutty bitch like her mom. I didn't meet the mom, but when I was able to hear the loud music blasting through her rolled up windows, I knew right there that she didn't give a shit if her daughter was there.
Okay.
Maybe it wasn't her.
Hold on a second. Boggles, hit it.
Maybe it wasn't her mom. Maybe it was her sister. That's still horrible because her parents didn't teach her to keep the music down when there are little kids in the car. I would never blast my music when my parents or siblings are in the car, unless it's a cool song we both like. But if it's a club song and my little sister is sitting in the back with me and I have the urge to crank that shit up to max, I think about what I'm doing.
Okay. Time out. I need somebody to read this like they're actually there. So the only person there is DKO. Let's hear it, DKO.
Right. I think about...
Maybe it wasn't my mom.
Okay. Maybe it wasn't her mom. Maybe it was her sister. That's still horrible because her parents didn't teach her to keep the music down when there are little kids in the car. I would never blast my music when my parents or siblings are in the car, unless if it's a cool song we both like. But if it's a club song and my little sister is sitting in the back with me and I have the urge to crank that shit up to max, I think about what I'm doing to my sister's future.
Okay, stop. Listen to how I read, okay? I'm not even you, but I'm going to try and find something in your writing that moves me so I can get into the mood of this writing, then I can get into the sentiment of this writing. Maybe it wasn't her mom. Maybe it was her sister. That's still horrible. See how I latched on the word horrible? This is horrible. How do I say the word horrible? What do I think of when I think of horrible? Think of terrible moms, right? This is horrible. Why is she raising her daughter this way? This is horrible. There's my inflection. There's my voice inflection. There's my emphasis in what is jumping out at me in the writing, or how I'm trying to enter into the sentiment in the writing versus you, DVP. Maybe it wasn't her mom. Maybe it was her sister. That's still horrible. Let's crank that shit up. Blah, 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 blah. Right? It's the same monotone. It puts me to sleep. I don't want to hear your monotone. I want to hear where you were when you wrote this. What you were thinking when you wrote this. How you felt when you wrote this. If that is not present, I don't care to read it. Do you understand the point?
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't her mom. Maybe it was her sister. That's still horrible because her parents didn't teach her to keep the music down when there are little kids in the car. I would never blast my music when my parents or siblings are in the car, unless if it's a cool song that we both like. But if it's a club song and my little sister is sitting in the back with me, I have the urge to crank that shit up to the max. I think about what I'm doing in my sister's future and restrain myself. Plus my dad never did that. And when he did, he made sure we both enjoyed the song by singing to it. Those oldies were the best to sing along to. Those oldies were the best, right? I'm bebopping, snapping my fingers, going back. Oh, those oldies. Oh, I love those things. I get that low whisper. Oh, that sacred sound. Oh, those oldies were the best thing to listen to. This is what happens when you close your eyes and you just have that sentiment and you share it with a friend. Oh, those oldies are the best thing to listen to. You could hear that enjoyment in your voice. You should be able to hear that same enjoyment when you're reading that to me, when you're sharing that sentiment with me. But then he'd immediately turn it down after 20 seconds. That's my exception. That's what I do sometimes. Okay? Go ahead, read it.
The whole thing? Again?
Yes.
Alright. It's hard.
Oh, I know, it's a shivery. Maybe it wasn't her mom.
Shit.
Oh, no. Come on, man. Do it, man.
Maybe it wasn't her mom. Maybe it wasn't her sister. That's still horrible.
Whoa.
Because-
Is it saying maybe it wasn't? Is that just a
Yeah,
bad spelling there?
Yeah, it says maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, maybe you need to fix your sentence there. So we got a whole different meaning now. Okay, keep going.
Alright. That's still horrible because her parents didn't teach her to keep the music down
Dude, you
when
gotta
there are kids in the car.
Hold on. Fucking Skype.
We should
Let me
try
hang up.
plus.
Hold on. I'll get him back. Okay, you little Skype. Fucking Skype. Alright, hit it.
Oh, where was it?
That's still
It
horrible.
wasn't her mom.
That's still horrible because her parents didn't teach her to keep the music down when there are little kids in the car. I would never blast my music when my parents or siblings are in the car, unless if it's a cool song we both like. But if it's a club song and my little sister is sitting in the back with me, and I have the urge to crank that shit up to max, I think about what I'm doing to my sister's future and restrain myself. Plus, my dad never did that, and when he did, he made sure we were both enjoying the song by singing to it. Those oldies were the best to sing along to. But when he'd immediately turn it down after 20 seconds... But then he'd immediately turn it down after 20 seconds. That's my exception. That's what I do sometimes.
Okay, DVP, hit it.
When I was walking to class, I saw a couple up against the wall of the building I was going to walk in. When I saw them, I couldn't help but put on a faint smile. I felt happy for them. My smile was small.
Hold on a second. Who the fuck is distracting me? Who is typing? Nobody's typing? Nobody's distracting us?
Nope.
Somebody.
Motherfuckers. If I catch that guy, I'm gonna gut him. Because he's doing it silently. I'm gonna look at the screen. I can't even concentrate now on the post. I'm gonna find you, you fucker.
You done goofed.
When I see you, I'm gonna punch
I
you
got
out.
it again.
I hear it again, some motherfucker. He's being clever. Oh, this is like the kid putting spitballs in his little straw, just
You might as well
shooting
just
him.
come forward and save us the trouble. Whoever.
When I catch you, I'm gonna fucking break your knuckles. You know how they did in Catholic school? They have your hands, and you tell you to put your hands on the desk, and for the ruler, you're gonna get 2 rulers, double rulers on your knuckles. Fuck, I'm gonna catch you.
Well, everybody spoke now except one person.
I'm waiting. Okay, keep going. I'll keep my eye on the screen. You guys
Where
keep
the
reading.
fuck was I? Okay. I was looking at the girls who were walking towards them and knew they would have... Wait, what? Okay, what? Okay, now I remember. When I was walking to class, I saw a couple against the wall of the building I was going to walk in. When I saw them, I couldn't help but put on a faint smile. I felt happy for them. My smile was small, though, because I didn't want people, or the couple, to look at me as if I were about to pull out my 9 and pop a cap in the guy's ass while I steal his girlfriend like the Green Goblin from Spider-Man. What mostly made me smile, though, was that he was teasing and playing with her while she was giggling and the other guy was chuckling and laughing. It looked like the perfect authoritative/submissive relationship. That is what I definitely, no doubt in my mind, want to experience when I get a girlfriend. I want her to be against a wall while I'm in front of her with both my hands on the wall and arms stretched up and her between them.
Woo!
That was like watching 2 wild animals mate on the National Geographic Channel. I don't know what else to write about that. It was a sublime feeling of joy I felt for them. But if I was a cholo guy trying to act cool with his backwards straight-capped hat, I'd feel disgusted and curse his relationship with the girl.
Okay, A-Team, hit it.
I was looking at the girls who were walking towards them and knew they would abruptly look away when they'd see the couple. And they did. I felt like grabbing one of the girls who turned away after looking at the couple and placing her right beside the couple so I could start teasing and cuddling her like the other couple. Then I'd high-five the guy, and then we'd both make out with our girls. That would be a bro-tastic day.
Could you read that again, but wake up this time? Because I didn't feel like that would be a brotastic day was expressed the way the sentence is written. How would you say, Paperclip, how would you say that would be a brotastic day according to the sentence? Because it's got an exclamation point at the end.
That would be a bro-tastic day.
Something like that to indicate that there's some exclamation going on. Go ahead. A-Team, read it again.
That would be a bro-tastic day.
No, read the paragraph.
Oh, okay. I was looking at the girls who were walking towards them and knew they would abruptly look away when they'd see the couple. And they did. I felt like grabbing one of the girls who turned away after looking at the couple and placing her beside the couple so I could start teasing and cuddling her like the other couple. Then I'd high-five the guy, and then we'd both make out with our girls. That would be a bro-tastic day.
That would be a brotastic day. That would be a brotastic day. Sounds like you're about to commit suicide, bro. You want to read that one more time?
The whole paragraph?
Yeah, motherfucker, come on. Wake me up. Wake me up.
I will, I'll do it.
You're putting
looking
me
at the
to
girls.
sleep. You're pissing off all the other students. Wake me up. We want to get past this paragraph. We're all stalled because of you.
I was.
Hold on a second.
What was that?
Motherfucker, who's trying to interrupt me? I'm in the middle of a call.
God damn it.
Yo, I'm in the middle of class right now. Let me call you back. I'm in the middle of class. Motherfucker.
What was that?
The guy I gotta pick up from the airport for New Year's. Okay, keep going.
I was looking at the girls who were walking towards them and knew they would abruptly look away when they see the couple. And they did. I felt like grabbing one of the girls who turned away after looking at the couple and placing her right beside the couple so I could start teasing and cuddling her like the other couple. Then I'd high-five the guy and then we'd both make out with the girls. That would be a bro-tastic day.
Okay, that's a little better. Alright, High School 101, hit it.
Okay. Mexican talked about in one of my DM posts how I thought he was. Let me just say that this last guy. He watches Ellen DeGeneres whenever he gets a chance. He misused his financial aid money by buying superfluous things, like the new $400 iPhone and a brand new 2012 Chevy Avalanche.
Oh,
I think it's gonna fuck up his career path in the long run.
Okay, let's see here. Paperclip, hit it.
He told the instructor today that he used his financial aid money to buy himself a $400 iPhone. I felt enormously embarrassed for the guy. What's pitiful is that he sounded so innocent talking about it too. My professor was struck with complete astonishment, and I think I heard some resentment in her tone too. She asked him if he needed the financial aid, and he said no. Then she asked, "Why do you use the money then?" When he answered, "Because it's there," I thought he avoided the answer, and felt even more pity for the poor fella. I was pretending to read something on the computer the whole time I was listening in.
Boggles.
What hit me was that I feel the same way my instructor did, but I didn't voice my opinion to the Mexican guy because I didn't want him to feel ashamed because then I'd feel guilty.
Okay.
There were so many awkward silences.
Hold on. Boggles. I see exclamation points all over this thing.
I have a question. How do I get into his post?
I don't know. You tell me. How do you read when you see an exclamation point when you're reading something?
I show inflection. I have inflection in my voice.
Okay, so why don't you show it?
What hit me was that I felt the same way my instructor did.
Okay, DKO, why don't you read it how you wrote it? Go ahead.
Okay. What hit me was that I felt the same way my instructor did, but I didn't voice my opinion to the
Okay,
Mexican.
hold on. DPP, read that. Read that sentence.
What hit me was that I felt the same way my instructor did.
Yeah, we got bold, we got all caps, and we got an exclamation point. 18, read that sentence.
What hit me was that I felt the same way my instructor did.
And
But-
paperclip, hit it.
What hit me was that I felt the same way my instructor did.
Yes,
But
he's excited. All caps. Okay, High School, hit it.
What hit me was that I felt the same way my instructor did.
Yes, he's like, oh, it's like a revelation. What hit me was, I felt the same way my instructor did.
Well, I just thought he sounded angry, personally. I was
Well,
supposed to do it
either
angry.
way, the point is there's an exclamation point and there's capital letters. It's not read, what hit me was, I felt the same way my instructor did. At the end, you remember, because you see, all of a sudden you see the exclamation point coming. God damn it, DKO, read that.
Alright. What hit me was that I felt the same way my instructor did.
That sounds phony to me. Let me hear somebody read it like Boggles. Boggles will show you how to read it.
What hit me was that I felt the same way my instructor did. But
So fucking close, Boggles. No cigar. Watch. The only guy who read it right so far, DVP, read it. Let me hear it.
What hit me was that I felt the same way my instructor did.
See that? That's how we want to read it. Now watch. Listen
Yeah.
listen to Paperclip. Listen to Paperclip read it. He knows what he's doing.
what hit me was that I felt the same way my instructor did.
See that?
But-
He's got the exasperation. I feel like that he wrote that sentence, not you. I feel like you're an imposter, DKO. And you actually hired Paperclip to write that for you. Now I want you to read that. DKO, I want you to read the sentence the way Paperclip wrote it. Go ahead.
Okay. What hit me was that I felt the same way my instructor did.
Motherfucker. 18. Can you read it the same way Paperclip wrote it?
I'll try.
Don't try. Do it or do not do it.
What hit me was that I felt the same way my instructor
Oh,
did.
fucking guy. Let me see. Do I have any more students to call on? We're running out of students to call
I
on.
can try again.
Yeah,
Try.
let's have Boggles try again. Boggles going to show you how to say it the correct way. Go ahead.
What hit me was that I felt the same way my instructor did.
Look at that. You hear
I
that?
almost had to imagine that scenario. in my
Yeah,
head.
you get into the whole sentiment. Get into the sentiment of it.
Yeah, because earlier I tried reading while thinking about something else and I couldn't get into it.
Okay, DKO, hit it.
What hit me was that I felt the same way my instructor did.
You sound like a kid trying out for a cereal commercial. Listen to DBP. Listen carefully to DBP. He's going to close his eyes and get into it. Go ahead.
What hit me was that I felt the same way my instructor did.
You hear that?
What?
He's not even that loud, but you could hear the exasperation in his voice. So you don't have to be loud. You just have to enter into the sentiment. Oh, watch. Let's hear A-Team read it. He'll show you how to do it, right?
What hit me was that I felt the same way my instructor did.
See? He's getting better. It still sounds terrible, but it's better than last time. Now DKO. Let's hear some improvement.
What hit me was that I felt the same way my instructor did.
Oh my God, this guy. Okay, let's rate this guy. We're gonna give him a final exam. Okay, DKO, hit it. I guess I can only take one more sentence out of you. We're all gonna rate you on this one. Go ahead.
What hit me was that I felt the same way my instructor did.
I would give him an F minus. Paperclip, your grade?
D.
What's that?
D.
D?
As in donkey.
As a donkey? Okay, you give him a donkey. DBP, what's your grade from?
T for terrible.
T for terrible, okay.
for
Boggles,
terrible.
what's your rating?
F minus minus.
Double F minus minus?
You wrote the damn thing.
Oh my God, I don't think a rating that low has ever been getting in the history of ratings. High school, what's your rating for this?
3 out of 10.
3 out of 10?
First.
Very generous, 3 out of 10.
Very generous.
18, what's your rating?
T for troll.
T for trouble?
Troll.
For troll. You're calling him a troll?
Oh no, I didn't realize the double meaning there. But no, terrible is fine then.
T for terrible, okay. So you got some work ahead of you, DKO. I don't know if I can stand you reading the rest of this paragraph. You might have to read this in your mirror. That's what I suggest. After the class is over, you read this. And read it like you're actually there, like you actually wrote it and you didn't hire Paperclip to write it. Okay, let's get through this and let's go to Boggles.
To my post?
Yep.
I just wrote one.
You just wrote one? Okay, great. 39? Last one?
Yeah. Owning your expression.
Okay, go for it.
9. Alright.
Oh, by the way, whoa. Before we go on any further, any comments on DKO's... Actually, no, we covered too much. We'll get back to it. Bogler, go ahead.
Yet another post. I sit on my chair in my semi-dark room and ponder as to what to write about. I had so many thoughts as I lay in bed this morning. I would be so much happier if I could remember thoughts as I typed this post. Remember those thoughts. As I lay in bed this morning, thoughts entered my mind at such a rapid pace that it was scary. My heart rate goes up when I experience this influx of thoughts hitting my mind rapidly. Thoughts are a unique concept. They're so quick. They don't have concrete colors in my mind. They are not always vivid to me when I think of them later. They can be, what the fuck?
I don't know
They
either.
can
What
be,
the fuck
though.
is that?
They can be though, depending on how impactful they are. I hate this fucking paragraph.
Yeah, me too. Keep going.
Take for example.
Oh, hold on. Let's stop there. Let's stop there for a second. DKO, what did you think about this paragraph?
I wasn't paying attention.
Motherfucker, why weren't you paying attention?
Because I was getting over my nervousness.
Are you over your nervousness yet? Because we're coming back to you.
I'll read this real quick and then...
Yeah, you
say
read it real quick while people are giving their commentary on it. High School 101, what did you think about this?
It was pretty alluring, especially the last part. We said they don't have concrete colors in my mind. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. That was pretty cool. I thought that was a nice little way to talk about his experience of those thoughts. At first, Bogler has that tendency to, describe useless things like I'm sitting in my chair, I'm about to type, and these useless information conveying post type sentences. But sometimes he gets into these, he starts getting to descriptions and pictures of what he's going through, which are intriguing to me. And he gets into his feelings about these thoughts or about these sentiments or what's going on in his mind. Like he had such a rapid pace. When these thoughts enter his mind at such a rapid pace, it was scary for him. His heart rate goes up. Okay. DBP, what was your thought on this?
I like this post because it's very vivid. I feel like I could really see Bogler here. His words, the way he says things, it's not as refined as I'd like. Like he mixes his words a lot, and it's sometimes I think it's like a 5-year-old wrote it, like the way he uses words.
Right.
But I like the big picture is he can bring me in his experience, and I like that a lot.
Yeah. Okay, Paper?
I feel like the bad guy for saying that. He didn't hook me.
He didn't hook you. You just weren't interested.
Yeah, I mean, I liked when he
Why
said
weren't
that
you hooked? Why weren't you hooked? Let's cover that.
He was talking about thoughts and the way he was expressing his reaction to his thoughts. They were like, I just can't relate to it.
You couldn't relate
that's
to
right.
it.
New concept. They're so quick. I don't know what that means.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
it's just very
it
general
was
and
too much
generic.
work.
You would say it's like a general statement. They're very quick. It doesn't mean that much to you to say a thought is very quick.
Yeah. There's not much description. to what
Okay,
talking
so he's
about.
not really
You have to go
painting
in
it.
depth.
He's not painting a clear picture for you. I actually agree with your criticism. There isn't a very clear picture where he's saying thoughts are very quick. And that doesn't really have any significance to me. What does that mean? A thought is quick. Quick compared to what? Quick compared to a cheetah, or quick compared to a computer, or quick compared to?
I think quick.
Well, you don't say that.
Yeah.
So there's very little context for what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Thoughts are a unique concept. Unique compared to what? They don't have concrete colors. I thought that sentence stood out. They don't have concrete colors. That talks about an aspect of your thoughts. They're not always vivid. Vivid compared to what? Or vivid how? Or not vivid how? There's nothing. There's no distinction. There's no degree here. Okay. 18.
Yeah. Go ahead.
18.
Okay, I actually really liked it, especially the imagery. Like, as I was reading this, I imagined like Bogler like sitting on his bed and like colors, like a rainbow of like colors, like going through his head, like out one ear.
You imagine him on PCP and mushrooms.
Yeah, exactly. If I was on shrooms and watching Bogler, that's kind of what I.
Boggs on hallucinogens, looking at his hand, forming a rainbow. Okay.
But I also thought Bogler's reading helped. Like, I thought he read it pretty good.
Yeah, I think Bogler almost did a disservice to his post here, because his post by itself probably isn't that as intriguing as when Bogler reads it. Bogler has a very expressive voice, and there's a lot of inflection, so it makes some words more meaningful that would just read as vague thoughts if you were to read them in your mind or just read them yourself. I think Bogler adds to his post more than is actually there through his reading. Bogler, hit it. Second paragraph.
Take, for example, my whole adventure to Europe. I remember everything so vividly because it was a novel adventure to me, and it was emotionally so impactful to me. I remember a good part of every day I was in Europe, right from when I entered it to when I left it. It now seems so amazing to me, the entire experience. I don't know if I will ever forget it. The whole experience is so fresh in my mind, even though it happened a few months ago. Everything about it is like a story to me. My traveling to England and then going over to France to see the French Indian girl was like an adventure. For the first time, I witnessed a car being driven into a ship to be transported across a channel. This idea seemed fantastic, and being a part of it was something I was looking forward to.
DBP.
Well, I like this one too, but one thing that Bogler has a tendency to do was he'll repeat his thoughts a lot. Like he'll say one thing at the beginning of the paragraph and then he'll repeat it again. Like he'll talk about his experience at the beginning of the paragraph and then he'll say, the whole experience is so fresh in my mind. Things like that, even though his expression is good, it just is good. It like picks at my mind. It annoys me like a fly buzzing at my ear. I don't like it when he repeats his words like that.
Okay. Paper.
My favorite sentence was when he says, I witnessed a car being driven into a ship to be transported across the channel. Or he said for the first time. And that brought me into his experience. I'm like, wow, that's cool that for the first time he saw that happen. Now, for the stuff before, I mean, it has potential, but he doesn't describe whatever he's talking about to more. Like, he doesn't give enough of his reaction to what he's describing. For example,
I agree. I think you hit it right on the head. Go ahead, sorry.
He says, I remember everything so vividly because it was a novel adventure to me, and it was emotionally so impactful on me. Now, after reading that sentence, I'm expecting him to break down what was so vividly about the experience.
What was so what?
Vivid.
So vivid.
Okay.
Like I want to know what about it was such a novel adventure. I want
Exactly. I have this exact same complaint. There's a lot of hype here. It's like you're talking about a concert. This concert is going to be so amazing. It's so awesome. It's got such amazing artists, and then you don't talk about the artists. You don't talk about what individual aspects of it made it amazing. You don't talk about your trip. You just says it was impactful. What was impactful about it? Why was it impactful? Just saying it's impactful is meaningless to me. So there's a lot of this.
Missing. I got it.
What?
It's missing actual examples.
Yes,
the
exactly.
Example that brought me to his experience when he said for the first time he witnessed a car being driven to a ship to be transported across the channel.
There's so many
he said
things.
That, boom, he hooked me.
There are so many things that are amazing to him, but we don't see what those things are, and we don't see how they're affecting. We just know that he overall had an amazing experience. So I would say this whole paragraph is a fail, other than that, maybe that last sentence, which was one of the specific elements. He gave one, for instance, example, and left the rest of us with blue balls. You know, we got reading blue balls here.
Empty bottles.
Okay.
Standard complaint here.
I think we got enough of that one. Let's go to DVP. Hit it.
Alright, you guys there?
Yep.
Hold on.
Oh, it's your. Okay, hold
refresh.
DB, last one,
What
16,
page?
right?
Yeah, last page, last post.
Okay, last page, last post.
You guys there?
Hit it.
Yeah.
Almost. I had to drag myself out of bed just to get started on this post. Wasn't looking forward to waking up at all. But now that I'm here, it's not so bad. I just have to block out all that was distracting me yesterday morning.
Okay, stop right there. Paper.
Yeah.
How was it?
I liked it. I mean, I liked it when he said, he first told us what he's doing. He had to drag himself out of bed, and then he gave me his reaction, which was he wasn't looking forward to it at all.
Okay.
I liked that.
Boggles?
It was alright. I kind of he dragged himself, but he wasn't looking forward to it. It was okay. Nothing spectacular.
Nothing spectacular. A-team?
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't. It was okay.
High school?
Yeah, I agree. It's okay. It's just an intro, though, so...
Yeah, it's an intro. Not that consequential. My complaint is, I wouldn't mind it so much if it was just an intro, but I think DBP has a habit of doing this about talking, preparing us for what he's about to talk about, and it's kind of like a waste. It's like filler. Saying, I woke up, I brushed my teeth, I blinked my
Get to
eyes.
his reaction as soon as he can.
Yeah, get to the point as soon as you can, because all this stuff is just a waste of time to me. Unless it's relevant to you. I mean, if talking about how you feel while you're waking up is relevant, by all means write about it. But just realize, if this is just your normal routine about talking about things, it's gonna wear on people. Motherfucker, why is this guy calling me in the middle of class? Stop calling me.
Skype buddies.
Yo, I'm in the middle of class. What do you want?
What class, dude?
Motherfucker, I'll call you after class. Fucking cocksucker. Okay, sorry about that. Where were we?
Second paragraph.
Okay, go ahead.
I was lazy on yesterday's podcast and expression post, not organizing my thoughts in either. The end result was me speaking/typing a cornucopia of gibberish. Why? Because I got a new game I've been looking forward to playing all week. Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. It's an open world where you can do anything, role-playing game. It's very, very addicting. And during the podcast, the only thoughts in my head were, Jesus Christ, let's just get this over with. I felt so stupid after we finished. I had this idealized version of my confidence until the cold reality hit me hard. It was like someone waking you up out of the perfect dream by splashing you with cold water. At first, you're pissed off, but after the anger melts away, you're back down to earth with the rest of the mortals. I thought I was progressing. I thought I was progressing. I even thought I had to simply tweak a few things to become confident. How wrong I was. I may have progressed, but not to the point that I originally delusionally thought.
Okay, my comment on this is the same thing as the last comment about
Not a preparation.
Boggle's post. It's just it seems like you're talking about the event without getting into specifics, and the specifics are the thing that tie me into the post. So saying you're incompetent and it was like splashing cold water on you and anger melts away. These are all general, but I don't even know what you're talking about. Whoa! Stop typing. Hold on. Wait till I'm done. Okay, so they're very general, but they don't cover any of the specifics about why this thing is affecting you this way. So I'm left with just a general sense of things like, hey, I had a really good day. It was so good. So many amazing things happened. It's just like a tease. So there's no real meat to the post here. There's no real meat to this paragraph. Nothing draws me in.
Well, I should warn you the rest of the post is like this.
Okay, so then we'll skip it. Let's see here. 18.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second.
High school.
Yeah. Want to cover mine?
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Huh? You said my name?
Yes, what did you think about the post?
About post? So far, I like the second paragraph a little better than the first paragraph, but yeah, I gotta agree. It's just an intro role. He should just go back to the point.
What?
Said he was on an info roll, and then I lost.
He was on an info roll? Sorry, your mic cut out, or it was a little choppy. Go ahead, say that last part.
Okay. Are we talking about the second paragraph?
Yes, we're talking about the second paragraph, the one we just read.
Okay, so what I think about that is, yeah, I pretty much agree with you. It's like, is this an intro? I didn't think it was so bad, expression-wise, but yeah, I would appreciate it if he got to the point faster.
Are we talking about the same thing? Paper, are you paying attention? Because I don't think high school was.
Yes.
Okay, what do you think about that second paragraph?
DVP's post gave me blue balls. I was anticipating to know more about Skyrim, especially because you said you can do anything. So I'm thinking to myself, what can you do? Can you drink beer? Can you talk to dinosaurs? Can you fight through the world? But then nothing happened. So I'm like, fuck, you asshole.
You asshole, you led me there, you got me all hard and wet, and then now that's it, you left me alone.
You're all blue-balling assholes.
My dick, and I'm like, don't eat yet. We're not done yet.
We're like strippers. We only show you and we don't put up.
Yeah, just teasing and not pleasing. Okay, Boggles. Boggles, what'd you think?
When he first started describing stuff, again, there was too much information, like just describing events. I noticed he's doing that a lot. But then later on in the end, when he starts talking about his reaction, that's when I slowly started getting into it. I was like, oh, okay, this sounds good.
Yeah, eventually he got to the point there.
Yeah.
We got some of his personal reaction.
There's always too much description about events.
Yeah, eventually we got to his personal reaction at the end. 18, did we talk to you yet?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually really liked it at first. I liked the cornucopia of gibberish that really attracted me. And I can relate to Skyrim being addicting.
Okay, so you relate to just the mention of the game because you can relate to the actual event, but if you didn't know anything about Skyrim, it wouldn't matter.
I probably would have been bored because I think this needs like his reaction to playing the game and why it's addicting. And
Exactly.
Like
okay, I think that's good enough. Let's hit yours, 18.
my expression?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we got time for one more, so you're the last one.
Oh, okay.
Yes!
I wanted to do mine too.
Oh, poor guy. Well, we're out of time, so we gotta hit his real quick. We might even get to one paragraph of his.
The rage within
Can I
me
get a
is
rain
like
check?
What?
Can I get a rain check for next
You're
time?
gonna have to get a rain check.
Alright, cool. I'm holding you to that.
Okay, 18.
the rage within me is like a boiling pressure.
Wait, where are you at? Which one?
The first
Oh,
time.
sorry, I'm doing the very first post.
Your very, very, very first post?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that much.
I just started.
I thought you had 3 pages.
No, I wish.
Am I on the wrong? I must be on the wrong 18. Hold on. Let's see. Amanek. Oh, the other 18. Who's the other guy? I call him 18
Snaky
too.
guy. Snaky
Oh,
guy.
that's Snaky Guy. Okay,
Come on.
Snaky Guy.
Wait, who's Snaky Guy?
I'm gonna change his name to Snaky Guy. I can't stand that name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. The rage within me is like a boiling pressure cooker. If mishandled or not taken care of in the right way, it's likely to explode, letting its contents burst out and burn the mishandler. That's the way I was when I noticed that my dad only transferred $100 to my bank account as compensation for money spent on food over the past semester. I failed at getting my expectations met again. I felt like I was sick of this happening. I was being clear about my expectations. I thought they were very reasonable, and I was not having them met yet again.
Bogler.
I liked it because I was surprised because when I spoken to him, he didn't seem that.
Yeah, like the Incredible Hulk was hiding in there.
Yeah, I was like, wow, so this guy has anger stuff just like me. So,
Fellow Indian with anger. What a shocker.
yeah, I was like, wow, now I want to hang out with this guy.
Maybe we could relate together and break TVs together or something.
I was also like the problems he's having with his dad. I like that. He kind of brought me.
Kind of what?
He kind of brought me into how he was feeling by talking about this.
Okay. High school.
I think it was
Hold on. We got having some serious mic issues here with you guys. Hold on. I got to call both of you back. Your mics are going nuts. And step back a little bit from your mic, high school. Hang up. Okay, in the meantime, DVP.
I liked. Fuck, hold on, I gotta take my headphones off. I liked when he talked about like the rage within me and how he just talked about his emotions. He really drew me in there.
Yeah.
But then he went back to ebook terms. Like I failed like in my expectations, and I just fell asleep.
Yeah,
I was like,
ebook.
Fuck.
Ebook.
Ebook terms again. Damn it.
Okay. DKO, were you paying attention? Oh, he's gone already. Let's see. Boggles, you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get high school back over here. Paper, what'd you think?
I like the sentence structure. When I read the paragraph, it was smooth. It flowed really well. I like reading his paragraph.
Nice.
And in regards to conveying himself, I was interested. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Why is his dad not giving him the money that he needs? And why does he want more money? And I got interested in his situation. I want to know more.
Exactly. I thought he did a real good job of bringing the reader in real quick. The rage within me is like a boiling pressure cooker. If mishandled or not taken care of in the right way, it's likely to explode. That's what I noticed by blah, blah, blah. So he's relating it to his experience real quick. All of a sudden he's talking about his dad transferring money, and he's got rage in him. It's related to this, so it's really quick with his emotional content, what his experience is, etc. I think these first part, if mishandled or not taken care of in the right way, is likely to explode. It seems to me like almost like he's trying to teach us or tell us something that's not really relevant to what's going on here. Letting its contents burst and burn the mishandler. Again, this is like removed from him. I would like him to keep it more personal. Okay. Who haven't we heard from here?
High school.
Yeah, I didn't say mine.
What's that?
So, I didn't get to say my opinion.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. It was pretty good too. Like, the first sentence like rose my heart rate. The raised in me is like a boiling pressure cooker. It's like I wanted to hear more. I think the last couple of sentences were like a little bit of a letdown in the first paragraph. It's going. I mean, actually, sorry, not the last couple of sentences, but like somewhere in the middle, it was kind of going away from this person, going a little more distant. But he brought me back in. I'd like to know more.
Okay, I think your critique is needs work because I want you to be specific. Like, what elements of this paragraph, what elements of this story are drawing you in, and what elements are turning you off? For instance, if you're saying, "Oh, in the middle it made me feel this way, and then at the end it felt that way," it's too vague to me. I want to hear more specific examples of what you liked and didn't like. All right, let's get one more paragraph, and then we're gonna call it a day. Go ahead.
I provoked my dad to get into an argument with me. This I did with a slightly clear head, but when I started yelling and letting my frustrations out, all reason got lost. There was a time warp, like in Limitless, where I can remember brief flashes of what happened, but none of the details, and I don't know if anything I said was the right thing to say or not. The next moment I clearly remember was my dad kicking me out of the room, physically, and promising to transfer money to the bank account. During this whole time, I felt like there was a spiraling fireball churning inside my stomach. By the time I was getting kicked out, it felt like someone was firebending from Avatar.
Okay,
The fireball.
First of all, I don't believe you. Now, if Bogler read it, I'd probably believe him. Watch, Bogler read it. Go ahead.
I provoked my dad to get into an argument with me.
Yeah, I believe that. Okay, keep going.
This I did with a clear head, but when I started yelling and letting my frustrations out, all reason got lost. There was a time warp in Limitless.
Like in Limitless.
Where I can remember brief flashes of what happened, but none of the details, and I don't know if anything I said was the right thing to say or not. The next moment I clearly remember was my dad kicking me out of the room, physically, and promising to transfer the money into the bank account. During this whole time, I felt like there was a spiraling fireball churning inside my stomach. By the time I was getting kicked out, it felt like someone was firebending from Avatar, the fireball so that it could nudge up my throat, bumping against my epiglottis and trying to break into my mouth. Every time I cleared my throat, I was fighting against the enemy firebender, knocking it back down and being able to speak clearer.
Okay, Boggles, what do you think about your whole firebending experience?
I like the first part. I hated that firebending nonsense.
Okay.
I love the part where, he's talking about like, I did it with a clear head, but then he's like, the frustrations are the reason God. I love that because it's like he's talking about what was going on in his mind. I can see like, this is what's happening to him. Then I also like the part where his dad is physically kicking him out of the room. I like it when I see like when people talk like physical stuff like this because I'm like, wow, he's Indian like me. Like I would get into physical fights with the family.
So you're relating with the event, not the actual writing.
In the beginning, I did with the writing where he's talking about when he started with a clear head, but the frustrations all like got lost. Reason got lost. I like that. But then later on, I related to the event.
Okay. I have the same criticism. Well, actually, let's hear from Paperclip first.
I enjoyed the paragraph, even though I don't even know what epiglottis is.
Epiglottis, okay.
Yeah, and I don't know much about Avatar.
Yeah,
but even though I have no idea about Avatar and I don't know what an epiglottis is, I read the sentence and I'm like, damn, that was cool. I met fireballs and the epiglottis and then trying to break into his mouth. It was a nice.
I'd say it was like a Pokemon
image.
battle.
Okay, so you felt the Pokemon battle. You felt like you were in the Pokemon battle.
Yeah, I imagined chaos going on.
High school.
Yeah, I really liked reading this paragraph too. I especially liked the third sentence where he said, there was a time warp, like in Limitless, where I can remember brief flashes of what happened, but none of the details. I don't know if anything I said was the right thing to say or not. It's overall very raw, and it's very relatable, because he details all the analogies. Like, he talks about the analogy of Limitless and the time warp. Even though I don't know what Limitless is, I don't know anything about that. It really keeps me interested.
Okay. DBP?
I liked when he said this I did with a slightly clear head, because it just shows how I just like how he kind of like takes you through it with him. Like you're going back in time with him, you're watching him slowly become more unreasonable and angry. I really like that. But then when he got to Avatar, I was just like, this is so dumb. I just got bored after that. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say.
Okay, this I did with a slightly clearer head, but when I started yelling and letting my frustration out, all reason got lost. There was like a time warp. This is like he's taking you through a journey of his experience.
Yes.
I like this part. Limitless, can't relate to it, don't know what it is. Where I can remember brief flashes of what happened, but none of the details. I don't know if I said anything that was right or not. Okay, and then, like that part, he's talking about dad kicking him out. Then, okay, I like the part where we went to the fireball, but then when he went to Avatar and firebending, I don't remember that part. And plus, you'd have to watch Avatar to have even related to this analogy. So it's kind of, he's trying to give the sense of fire, like there's fire going on inside him. I think there's other ways to do that other than just being lazy and relying on some analogy to do the work for you. Like saying, hey, if you saw Avatar, it's just like that part. This reminds me of when like girls talk about songs and they say, I really love you, just like this song. Here, listen to the song. This is how I feel. Yes, you may have a similar sentiment to that. You may feel the way the song is saying you may feel the song is encapsulating your thoughts, but it's still better to have your disjointed personal thoughts versus some song that somebody else made. Yes. I'd rather hear from you. I'd rather hear your opinion. I'd rather hear your take on this versus being lazy and relying on an analogy or some other person to speak for you.
Okay.
So I thought that's where it's lost its impact. But again, you have a really good sense of, or you have a really good structure here where you bring people into your experience. I provoked my dad to get in an argument with me. So right there we see what's going on. This I did with a slightly clear head. You're talking about how you did that. And then when you started yelling, letting your frustration, it went from reason and then your reason got lost. And then there was a time warp. So you're giving us you're walking us through what it's like to be you in this argument. This is an epitome of what it's like to have good expression, to bring somebody on the personal journey with you into your experiences, to sharing your reactions to what's going on around you. Whether it's a time warp, whether it's the actual argument. He's talking about a physical event. He's sharing information, right? I provoked my dad to get in an argument with me. That's personal information. I mean, that's just a, piece of static information. But then he's talking about his personal experiences. So he's using the information when it's necessary. Of course, you have to convey events. At some point, you have to talk about the information going on, or the information take. At some point, you have to use dead static information, but you always personalize it. And here he's making the extra effort to personalize the information to bring you into that, to make that dead information living to you. So it's no longer just the fact that he got into an argument with his dad. Now you feel like you're actually in the argument. You feel like what it's like to be him in that argument. This is the epitome of good expression.
You're right. I like that. I wish he wrote more.
Yeah, so there's definitely shortcomings. We can also see examples of where his expression is weaker, but we can also see examples of what he's doing right. This is an example for you guys to see what he's doing right and what he's doing wrong. So I think it's a good example right here with his paragraph.
Yeah. Sorry, I meant I wish he wrote more posts.
Sweet. Okay, any last words, any last issues before we close up?
What are the different parts of expression?
We'll have to cover that next time. It's too many to cover. Okay, thank you, students, for participating. Hope you guys have an awesome New Year's. If I was going to suggest, I don't know how practical it would be, but you guys could contact each other or Skype or whatever you need to do. If you guys don't have New Year's to spend with, I've invited Dr. Ladice over. He's coming over with his girlfriend, and I'm having another friend I got to pick up, that other friend that just kept interrupting during our class. So I got a couple things I'm going to take care of, but if you guys, you guys are learning social interaction right now, so it's not like you guys have a lot of parties to go to or a lot of people to hang out with. I would encourage you. That's why I'm telling you every opportunity you get to make these relationships with other students work. These are strangers, but these are eventually going to become your good friends. So again, take the time to build these relationships. And on another note, I would say Bogler. I was even considering having Bogler over. But, of course, why didn't I ultimately invite Bogler over, Paperclip?
He gives no incentive.
He does give incentive. But why didn't I invite Bogler over High School 101?
Because of the plum roll.
No. Bogler, why didn't I invite you over ultimately? I did consider inviting you over, and I was looking forward to it, but what ultimately went up?
I wasn't sure. You weren't sure how I would get along with Ladice.
Yes, I wasn't sure how you'd get along with his girlfriend with the dice. I know there's been problems in the past, and I ultimately want to have a good time. So I got to weigh these factors when I'm thinking about bringing you over. So again, this has to do with your relationship building skills. If your relationship building skills were better than they are right now, I would have no problem inviting you over. You would be enjoying the benefits of the relationship you created. But right now, you're reaping the problems you're creating in your relationships. That's why the plum rule exists for you right now. It's to teach you, look, you need to start learning how to give people incentive instead of burning your bridges. Then you would be at this New Year's Eve party that I'm having. So again, this is an example for you. It's both a warning and kind of an impetus to say, oh, okay, this is how I need to start fixing my relationships. So what I was thinking is, if you guys have nobody else to spend if you don't have family or friends to hang out with, you guys can hang out with each other. This is, again, another opportunity for you guys to build a relationship or to build relationships up or to learn how to build relationships while you're here at the academy. All right, guys, thanks for the class. Been a good one.